Howdy. Turn that down a little bit. So, what you're looking at here is what I worked on yesterday. This is an animation where there are holes cut into this piece of paper and it's made into a circle, a ring of sorts, and when you advance it, the set number of distance, it'll advance to the next still in the sequence. This worked functionally, but it could be better. Some of the limitations with it are that it is a circle and it's of paper, so it doesn't have consistent support throughout it. It doesn't have anything that really keeps it in place. And so I want to make this octagonal and have fewer frames for how this is moving around because it's moving pretty quick. So I have the start of that in this. Let me pull it up. Yep. This was just a test to make sure I had my math right because I've had issues in the past. So this is what it would be like if it were cut out and this middle section, this middle octagon was constant, that it was part of the paper, and these folded up from that. This is how it would look. But what I want to do is have a strip, so I have these placed one, then the next, then the next. And in doing that, I shouldn't have any issue. So my next step is going to be in here. This is active space, meaning the section of the animation that I wanted to keep clear. What I ended up going with was just these circles moving around. I can give you a preview of what that looks like if I drop down this and go to time. So this is what the animation should look like when it's cut out in sequence and such. It will only be 8 frames. It takes advantage of the fact that if you have multiples of something in a sequence, it'll be you can use fewer frames while still having smooth motion. Like if you were to increase the number of stills, the distance that it's covering is smaller. But I want to have it be 4 because that gives a good distance. If these are being cut out, it means that they're not going to have issues with creating a full circle and cutting out any interior space. Like if you were to have 12 frames, this middle would be cut out. So let's drop this back down to 4, and it's a solid, not too much, not too little. A good in-between, good test to get this refined and understood. If these circles were larger, I wanted to, I guess I have it worked out where they stay within the space regardless, but if I were to have something that was animating outside of the central frame, then I wouldn't have enough space to fold and maintain the structure as a whole. So don't actually really need this active space thing. I'm going to turn it off and just come here and let's start adding in some elements that I need. So if these are presented in sequence left to right, I'm going to need an element that connects across the middle here, essentially like creating what I want to have is something that comes out from this guy, like this rectangle up here, and has something that comes across and connects here so that you have something that keeps it in check for where it is position-wise. And if I only go halfway across, essentially the radius of this thing, then I don't have any issues with I use less paper. So I need to bring this guy out, and this is going to be spoke. And let me add some elements. This will be constant. So I have over on this right side, I don't know how well you can see, but on the right side there are a bunch of variables that I've put in parameters, and then that's for the overall document, like anything that's thrown in here. And then component B is this particular page here, so things that I want to adjust long term. In the case of this, I want the spoke width to be, let's just make it 0.25, that's a solid width, and then the height is going to be, I'll make it so I don't have to keep doing it. Spoke height is going to be the radius plus spoke width divided by 2. And that will get us across to a central point. That's a pivot point. So let me go back to this rectangle. The scale, the width will be spoke width, and the height will be spoke height. And this position, let's have its origin on this be negative 0.5, and this is frame, nope, I have it as paper height divided by 2, and that's our spoke. And now we need a circle that will be the pinhole. This scale is just pinhole, which is the size of the tacks that I have, the width of them, and the position will be spoke height. Oh, this should be 0. This one is spoke height plus paper height divided by 2. This should not be spoke height, this should be radius. And now let's name this pivot
his driver's
pinhole,
license and 5 credit cards,
and
a
come in
cab
here
of
and
the hijacked truck when
modify
he abandoned it. His trial only lasted
Boolean
a half
difference.
hour before he was found guilty. Well, that was only because he
And
signed
so
a full confession, Chief.
this should be all that we
But I
really
know
need
that,
at
he had to
this
be
stage of
shielding a
things.
real criminal.
Let me come in, and I'm going to trying to think if it's there was. I'll just use it as a score point. Okay. This is spoke, and now let's come to paper, modify Boolean difference, and these will be, let me name this frame so I remember what it is. Modify Boolean union. Now I have this sort of shape that when I fold across this line where these two meet, it will fold and connect it to a middle point, and you can rotate it. So from here, I need to take this and add a linear repeat. The displacement will be frame width. The repetition number, I'm actually going to take a step back from this. I don't want to do this in here. I want to do this in frame. I want to bring this in here. Position is that and that. And now let's do that linear repeat. Repetitions will be frame number. Offset will be frame. Okay. I do want to do this in the buried one, because then the frame length will adjust. Modify linear repeats, repetitions, frame num, frame width, and now let's come back into this circle position, and this is minus, let me add a customize rep to this. This would be rep 2, and rep 2, rep 2, so you can see when these are put in sequence. Let's add another Boolean union, and should be okay. Now let's come in here, get rid of this guy, and I want to have
of intrigue among the socially prominent.
time is,
There in stately splendor, far
I'll mess with
removed
this in a
from
second.
the squalid village below, they fight their petty battles over
Okay,
power
this is
and money.
the ultimate one. Do I
Now, as
have
this week's
the
action begins, young Rodney Murchfield is counting paper
okay.
clips
ring
in his palatial office of the
offset
Murchfield-led mining
length?
company.
This will be, gonna have this just be 1. That's easy enough. And modify linear repetition. This is ring rep number. This is 0. This is some weird bit. And customize each repetition. Come to frame 2. Paper length is 10 minus ring offset length times rep. And now you can see that the top, middle, and bottom have decreasing sizes to them. Let me actually come into frame here and add an element. This will be the overlap tab, which for the sake of me, I'm going to have this be frame width divided by 2, and the height is over tab. What do I have? Is this, where is it at? What do I have this called? This closing tab. And this will be 0.5, 0.5, negative 0.5. And the position is negative frame width divided by 2. This position is paper height divided by 2, and this is actually negative paper height divided by 2. Modify mirror repeats and make this be 1, 0, and 0. And this does not need to be this wide. This can actually be a set width. Let's make this not frame width divided by 2. Let's instead make this just 0.5, 0.25. I don't know if this is better to have. I think this is better just to have. Let's make it 0.5. Nope. Let's go back to what it was before. A frame width divided by. Just make it divided by 3. And then come in here and modify Boolean union. So now I've got a little extra there, and I'm going to give these a fill, but I'm going to edit the expression and have this be 1 divided by ring rep num plus 1 divided by ring rep num
And what about
rep.
Kamala's mysterious failure to return from lunch?
And there you got 3 there. Now what I need is to create a series of score marks, and for that I need this line. That's the easiest way to do this. I think it's to just duplicate the frame guy and have a series of lines that I treat as. Okay, so this is negative frame width divided by 2. Frame paper height divided by 2. And make this a negative. So I got that there, and modify linear repeat the displacement as frame width, and the repetition is frame num. Does that get me as many as I need? Yes, it does. And then I just need an additional one that goes from negative. What is the? No, it's negative spoke width divided by 2. Spoke width divided by 2. And the depth is paper height divided by 2. Paper height divided by 2. Actually, does this check out? Yeah, okay. Let me group these and create that linear repeat there, and everything should be good. So now that I have this second frame, this is just going to be score lines, and I'm just going to duplicate the elements of it, so I can get rid of. Actually, what happens when I bring this in? Score lines and put it at 0, 0. Keeps it in place. Going to copy the linear repeats and come in here. Paper length, it's going to be the same adjustment. Copy this. And it all matches up. And then I need to change the stroke. Let me copy this. The stroke is going to be the same expression, but I'm going to just change that slightly. And let's just make this a 1. So this should be good. It's going to take a little bit of folding and building, but this is, let's, if it's 10.5, how wide is this? Let me bring in a rectangle and just, adjust this height. 10.42, cool, it clears. Let me change the linear repeat. Let me create something. Here, this is going to be rep off, or position offset, and this is going to be 2 offset, position offset. Let's see how small I can make this with clearing it all. That looks alright. Alright, I think we're good. Let's export this. Open up Cricut and see if I can keep this all within one thing. I got a Tamagotchi and I enjoy messing with it. Acting up. Okay. Okay, new project. Upload. I might have to do this on 2 pages. I'll find out. Come on. Upload image. Browse. Brings component C. Upload. Add to canvas. Let me visually just look at what this is. That these are slightly exaggerated, but they should work. Okay. Let me actually delete this because I did not export this for Cricut. Export SVG Cricut. And it's annoying to deal with all of this. Now this should be much better. Yeah, okay. These are score line. And how tall is this? It's under 8. I think 7.5 is what it needs to be. Ungroup this.
I think you made your groveling
Attach these guys.
Well, it was only meant as a gesture of devotion, Chief
Attach these
Orderly, you know well,
guys.
but if it bugs you, I'll gladly return to my menial duties.
Not so fast, Wine Coop.
Attach these guys. I think I can get away with these being Let me try one thing to see if I can't get this to be slightly tighter. This linear rep. No, because it's bigger than there. Okay. Let's see if I select all of this and make it the same color. fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It does. Okay. So we're good. That's the score line. Alright, I can do this on one sheet of paper. Cardstock, pressure, more, edit tool, scoring stylus, apply, and it just has to cut some circles out and such. It should work. This is a simpler bit than what I have done previously. Yeah. Kind of look like buttons.
A lot of cutting up the day of the honor, though. Doc Markwell, the druggist, filled a lot of prescriptions wrong. Jay Fitzer, the mechanic, went crazy with his grease gun, and he really had
Well, have any changes taken place, Mayor Grosvenor?
Yes, because of the publicity East Pardue got when it was named Honor City, a lot of industry was attracted to the area.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure it will herald a new era of unparalleled prosperity in East Pardue.
Yes, sir. 3 days after.
Waiting. Typically, I would do this on my own bit. While I'm waiting on that, play with my Tamagotchi. You don't need to look at that, you can see it. Can't see so much, or can you? See a little bit of this guy. He's upset now. Okay. All happy. So, what's sort of happening, let's talk through with this, is I'm just going to draw this as a hexagon because it's easier. Okay, this is kind of what it will end up forming, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 circles on any side, and they'll be rotating depending on how I choose to play it back, but it will also be rotating behind it. It'll have the same frame with a slightly different positioning because the width decreases as it gets smaller. And I think this will have some interesting visuals about it, but because it's folded as opposed to sort of bent around the edges, it'll have a better structure than the circle guys. No one's watching, so I'm just gonna turn me off. And I don't like Brandon.
Effects of an experience like that can last a lifetime.
Well, that's very true. But not many normal-sized people have the human compassion to understand that. I've really enjoyed meeting you and having this little conversation.
Well, thank you. If there's anything we can do to
Well,
make
if you're ever out in the East Islip, you can stop in for dinner. Give me a call from the station. I'll come over and pick you up.
That's very...
That's frustrating. I only grabbed 2 of them. Alright. Let's just come in and moment this. Yeah, this.
wonder why he suddenly sold his yacht and his Shetland pony to buy 300,000 shares of Birchfield Lead.
Well,
And by not changing a setting, mess stuff up. Okay, move that out the way, and move this. I need to clean up my desk soon. Come back here, and I'll just record working on these guys. Now I gotta find out if I did this math correct. Looks like I did.
time you say something just to please another person?
I assure you there's no rage building up inside me, Doctor. Now, if we could just move along
You're clenching your fists and your face is flushed. I'm afraid those are clear signs of suppressed anger.
Hey, knock it off, will you?
How do I want to do this bit? If I have something that can just sort of push it down, that's good. I could use just a piece of foam core. That might be my best bet. Okay.
And now, Dining Out with Bob and Ray, the informative feature that helps guide you to some of the lesser known but truly outstanding gourmet restaurants around New York and around the world.
Okay, how do I want to handle this? Piece of foam core, piece of foam core. Or do I want to tape or glue? Glue might work better. I might do glue. This feels a lot more stable than the circle did. It's got triangles happening. And set lengths that don't warp so much. I think it's got a little bit of play, but it's not nearly as chaotic as the last iteration. I can already see something that'll need to consider, which is the height of the paper as it goes back further, because the thickness of the spokes adds up. So that guy's good. This guy I'm trying to really fold up.
No man or woman is an island. That's another old adage that's filled with truth, especially after a cardiac event. We need all the help we can get.
weight and leading a sedentary lifestyle. Those are the things responsible for your spouse's heart disease, not you. Never forget that. And just many, if not most, of the normal chores in the household. There may be some limitations at first, but those will diminish remarkably in the weeks and months to come. This is the time to come closer together as a couple and as a family. Make it a
Okay. Let me rinse out this brush.
Your total recovery team and should understand as much about the recovery process as you do. But once you've explained your diet, your exercise, and your other lifestyle modification efforts, try not to dwell on the aspects of the heart disease. That can
Okay, curious about this, I'm going to Okay, I'm curious about this.
weekly. How many are done at his hospital weekly? And ask about his morbidity rates, meaning medical complications, and mortality rates, meaning death.
80% of the heart rate reached on your most recent treadmill test. Let's say that your doctor found that your maximum heart rate was 130 when you began to demonstrate symptoms. For the time being, then, you would multiply that maximum rate of 130 by 60 and 80%, or point. To work out your personal exercise prescription. This should be updated on a regular basis to see if you're ready to go on to the next level of exertion.
exercise. The time to start is after a 12-week cardiac rehabilitation program. Talk with your doctor about the appropriateness of this approach for you.
Now I'm just importing some photos. It's not too many and it should load pretty quickly because there's like not that many of them.
How long you've been smoking or of how old you are, you will cut the rate of morbidity and mortality in half if you quit. I know that it's tough to quit. I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker until my heart attack, and even after that event, which was followed by my first bypass, I continued to smoke, although I did cut down. Some things. And quit this, and that's the first one. That's one dash.
dash. Rename E3 dash. Rename O4 dash. And Photoshop is open. I will now show you Photoshop. Scripts, load files into stack. I don't need that on. Browse. Desktop. I have designs. Paper rings. Stills. 1 to 4. Or 1 to 8. I said 4 because 4 were selected. Or there are 4 loops. This is better, but there's still ways that it can. Why does it keep doing that? Alright, let's crop this down to about the space. A little bit wider on this side. And make this 960 wide. I didn't turn off autofocus, and as a result I ended up with some stuff that's a little bit blurred here and there.
Don't focus on the negative, how you missed that cigarette. Instead, concentrate on how good you're going to feel, how wonderful flowers will smell and food will taste. By now, you should be doing regular deep breathing as part of your routine stress reduction and relaxation program.
See how this saves out? Size-wise. Not terrible. This is 64. It's just about 1 megabyte. So 1. I'll save that. Files, scripts, load files into stack. Files, get 1 at number 2. And come over here. Now I'm going to leave that as that so you can see a contrast of the stability of it. It's the wrong one. I don't like when I do that. It's annoying to me because I don't know why. Well, it's defaulting to a different destination. Still isn't perfect, but it's a more interesting sort of form. It's easier, more legible than this guy. This guy's off-center in more ways than one. But I still wish that maybe it's a case of needing to like alternate where things are. It's just a lot to manage within the structure itself. This might be something where the thing where I'm trying to like save paper and have something be a little more seamless in some ways, that it's not optimal for the actual object itself. And the thing that I realized while I was working on it is that if you look at the top here, these are offset because the paper is folded and stacked and glued, and so there's a lot of material that builds up in the middle for stacking stuff, and as a result you end up with these central sections being much higher up.
Cut carrots, zucchini, celery, green peppers, and so forth in the refrigerator so you have something to nibble on through the day. Drink lots and lots of water, at least 8 8-ounce glasses daily. Eat more frequently rather than having a few large meals. You'll be more satisfied and you'll actually consume fewer calories in total.
Here you see the structure more clearly. There's more of the fact that these are sort of embedded in one another. It's interesting. I still don't know. It's an interesting visual, but it's not. Something about it just is like, eh. I think maybe it is because they're stacked up that it doesn't feel as appealing to me, but let me look at this at full speed and the other perspectives on it, and I'll have a better sense of like how I'm really feeling about it. I don't know.
Unfortunately, some of us make more than we need, and we add fuel to the fire by eating a high-fat, high-cholesterol diet. The result is an elevated cholesterol level in the blood of more than half of all Americans. We'd like to see levels at no more than 200 milligrams of cholesterol per deciliter of blood, and more ideally at between 160 and 180.
This one's super blue because it's just the flashlight and the light's cooler tone. think what this really brings to the table is the possibility of different lighting. It's not so present in the other paper structures. This also makes me want to play more with shadow.
Especially saturated fat and cholesterol can raise levels of cholesterol in the blood. But your cholesterol level can vary considerably from day to day and month to month, even if you don't change a thing in your diet. These are interesting. These aren't fully resolved, but the structure is interesting. This might be something that I need to sort of settle on a set size and scale and treat this as, or that's another option too. If I were to have something where, like, there's an existing rigid structure that I can settle these into, that would remove the need for the structure in the middle to be so high up if they were already just placed onto something that was a little bit more rigid, which isn't dissimilar from what I sort of started with, but I think it could be sort of a revisit and restructure it. Type deal. These are interesting. My favorite part of these is lighting it from the interior.
Diet,
which I have seen things where people create a shade and then have it coming out from the middle, and then the shadows animate.
In fact, the same dietary
but I want it to be
controlling your cholesterol will pay off in additional dividends.
more feeling, having the inconsistencies of it all, and the textures of things. Anyway, I think that's it for today. This one is my favorite. And then probably this one. Photographing with different lighting is another strong option. Anyway, spiel time. If you want to buy stuff from me, you can go to my web store, traceloops.com/store. If you want to purchase something and have it shipped outside of the US, you can email me at traceloops@traceloops.com. You can also email me with comments, concerns, questions, curiosities, commissions, etc., etc. And that is traceloops@traceloops.com. If you want to watch this stream or other streams in full, you can do so by going to the live section of my YouTube channel. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/TreySoups, where you'll find high-resolution versions of artwork that I create during streams. Also find a selection of tutorials, and then I air tears new songs to me weekdays, and at the next year you get a monthly postcard from me with the original artwork at the front, little message on the back end of the screen, that formation. And then if you want to follow me on other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Spotify, all of those places. I'm TreySoups, TRACELOPS. That's it for today. Plan on coming back tomorrow and exploring this a little bit more. I'm not sure what the next steps are. I think it might be just changing what the structures are a little bit. I got options. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to head on out.